Welcome back to ASU-TV tonight. I'm Caton Marsh, and I'm here joined by my good friend, Tristan Harlen, the station manager and one of the faces of Red Wolf Roundtable. Today we're here to give you guys a special presentation and simulation of Madden football with the Super Bowl, Chiefs versus Eagles. We'll get right into things right after break.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
Welcome back to ASU-TV tonight, and now it's time for the big game, Tristan. Chiefs versus Eagles. You guys got a presentation about 2 years ago, same Super Bowl, and we're back now, 2025, same matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this time around we're not joined by former station manager Easton John or our sports producer Cooper Melder, but regardless of the fact, you know, I'm excited that we were able to get together again to do another Super Bowl simulation through Madden 25. This time the Super Bowl's in New Orleans, and unfortunately my New Orleans Saints weren't able to join in the Super Bowl, but hey, we still got a great game on our hands regardless.
Oh, for sure. We got two high-powered offenses. One that's through the run with Saquon Barkley, who is one of the front runners for MVP, and then one on the other side with Patrick Mahomes' really good passing attack. And I'm here to ask you, what is your prediction for this Super Bowl?
Well, you know, I mean, it's a tale of two friends here. I could say I want the Chiefs to win and make Easton happy, or I could say go Bird or fly Eagles fly and make Cooper happy. But for that same point, I'm going to do this. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
Well, I don't know. I can't really decide who I want. I think as an NFL fan, just looking at it in perspective, we got Justin Reed kicking off, by the way. That's interesting. I thought I would say that. There's positives and negatives to both sides for each team winning. I honestly don't mind either team winning. One side you got history with the Chiefs, and then the other side you got the Eagles, one of the first time since Nick Foles.
Right, and I mean, Jalen Hurts in 2023, I mean, you're seeing the stats with the graphic on screen, and you know, this team had a lot of question marks coming into the season with the retirement of center Jason Kelce and what the offense was going to look like with the center's retirement, but I think that they were able to retool and kind of reconfigure the offense, so to speak, and they were able to get back to the championship game, which, you know, ultimately is all that matters.
And it was led by the guy in the backfield, Mr. Saquon Barkley, as we get a Jalen Hurts passed on the first play of the game. I don't really see that happening because they have been playing through the run quite a bit. But let's talk about Saquon Barkley for a second. Comes into the offseason as a free agent. The Giants want him back, but they don't want to offer him the same amount of money that the Eagles were willing to pay. Ultimately, 3 years, $39 million. I'm not sure how much was guaranteed, but he has been a game changer for them.
And that was just a drop there, kind of caught me off guard. But yeah, to your point there, I mean, you know, and here's the thing about Saquon Barkley, and a lot of people are either going to agree or disagree, but I feel like in the game today, the running back position is not one that's kind of valued as much as it should be. I mean, you know, growing up in the 2000s, early 2010s, we had guys like CJ2K, Reggie Bush, and Darren Sproles, and guys like that, LaDainian Tomlinson, running the ball. But now you're kind of seeing the shift back to the running back position with Saquon Barkley. And I feel like right now, as it stands, if we don't see the quality of running backs enter the NFL, I feel like Saquon's going to become one of those generational type players.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's proved it. I think he was stuck in a weird place in New York. He shifts, and he has one of the best offensive lines. And what's weird is we didn't see him touch the ball once the first drive. They passed 3 times, went 3 and out, and got sacked on 3rd down. Giving the Chiefs the ball really close to midfield, that's dangerous territory we're talking about, especially when the ball is in that man's hands.
Right, and you see him wearing number 15, but that's how many yards you give up if you try to touch him for a sack in the backfield. So, I mean, the thing with the Chiefs' offense is, it's kind of hard to say that they're not a great offense because, I mean, let's be honest, they are. But I just feel like there's too many negatives surrounding the offense and the team itself to really say, hey, I want the Chiefs to win. I want the Red Kingdom to party in Kansas City with the Lombardi Trophy again. But hey, what do I know? Okay, I just host my own sports show here on ASU-TV called Red Wolf Roundtable, and I also do graphics for ESPN Plus and play-by-play commentary. But hey, what do I know about the NFL?
As Hollywood catches the first pass for the Chiefs. But let's get into, I guess, both offensive side of the ball. And we got the Philadelphia Eagles who went 3 and out, but they're a high-powered run offense. The Kansas City Chiefs, we were talking behind scenes, haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 18 playoff games. That's a long time. Do you see Saquon Barkley doing that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think that Kansas City's defense is going to come in kind of prepared to stop Saquon Barkley. But I mean, you just have too many playmakers on the Philadelphia offense to really hone in on just one guy. So I feel like while we may see Saquon's production drop probably 25%, I still think he will possibly get at least 100 or 105 yards in the Super Bowl.
There's the first down of this simulation, Mr. Xavier Worthy. We got the first down celebration, not the right one because they do the Migos that way, but first down, kind of weird. But let's on your point, the Chiefs defense have been struggling pretty heavily against the run the past couple of games. Even though they haven't allowed one 100-yard rusher singly, they still have allowed several 100-yard games the past, 4?
Right. And and you can only sit here and talk about the history of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl so much because at the end of the day, it's still the Kansas City Chiefs. But you got to look at the Philadelphia defense. I mean, they've got, I think, 9 out of 11 Georgia Bulldogs on their defense. And for those that don't really pay attention to college,
oh my! That was into double coverage. Well, it's Hopkins.
And I was getting to that point, but DeAndre Hopkins, in the Super Bowl, he came to Kansas City after a stint with the Titans to try to get a Lombardi Trophy, and you know what? I'm not gonna act like that was a great catch because that's Madden rubber banding at its finest. I'm gonna be a D1 hater on that.
That was an amazing play. It tips up and in his hands. It doesn't matter. That was a terrible throw and turned into a great play.
It got tipped and he got rubber banded through an animation into the catch.
That was still a sick first down. Imagine that was the first touchdown of the Super Bowl. Would you complain about that? That would be amazing.
No, not at all. But I don't think an actual human being is going to glitch and rubber band into a catch. But hey, what do I know? I'm no video game designer.
But what you were talking about with this Eagles defense before they scored that amazing first touchdown was, I mean, this team is dominant in both run and pass. They had 2 amazing rookie corners in Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They had an amazing defensive line. Run game on the defenses, they were the best run defense in the NFL, or one of the best run defenses in the NFL, but they were the best pass defense in the NFL, allowing 167 yards a game. I could be off on that number, but it's pretty close, and only 130 yards to receivers a game. That is insane.
Right, and the thing too is you got to look at it like this. I mean, I feel like in the next year or so, the NFL is going to be back in a transitional period that it was a number of years ago before the legend of Patrick Mahomes kind of took off. But I mean, I just think that within this game, there's a lot of storylines that not a lot of people are highlighting. I mean, of course, you know, you've got the city of New Orleans and its rich history of having great Super Bowl matchups. I mean, Tom Brady winning some Lombardis in New Orleans. Of course, Ray Lewis going out on top in New Orleans during the blackout. And I definitely think the city of New Orleans and kind of the superstition of the Louisiana Superdome, or sorry, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome now, is just going to add a lot of flavor, so to speak, to this matchup. Because, I mean, again, this is a matchup we've seen before. Before it was the Kelsey brothers going head-to-head, Travis versus Jason. Now it's Travis possibly in his last game as a Kansas City Chief. If they win, you know, a lot of people, if you read BuzzFeed, if you read E, they're saying, hey, Travis is going to win. He's going to propose to Taylor Swift, and then he's going to ride off into the sunset. I personally don't think that's going to happen, but, you know, you never know. You never know what's going to happen in the NFL. But I definitely think, going back to what I was saying, that within this matchup, there's going to be more that meets the eye than just the Eagles versus Chiefs Part 2.
Well, we got a first glimpse of Mr. Saquon Barkley as the Eagles continue to pass and haven't handed it off once. Devontae Smith stiff-arming someone out of bounds there, and a first down. But we have yet to see Saquon run. We got a Jalen Hurts sack on first down by Mike Dana, and then a Saquon catch for 9 yards, and then a Devontae Smith first down. They're moving the ball pretty well on the second drive, but hopefully we see the ball in 26's hands here soon.
Oh, there it is, and he got stuffed in the backfield.
Mike Dana again for a 2-yard loss. But I kind of want to go into things, and maybe I'm jumping the gun a little early, but I want to talk about it throughout because the Eagles had a lot of them. Last night was the NFL honors. I thought it was Saturday. It was yesterday. The Eagles had someone in every single category except for Coach of the Year, which Sirianni, amazing catch. Grant Calcaterra. What a throw, what a catch. But they had everybody in each category except for Coach of the Year. Like I was saying, Sirianni, great coach. I think he could have been in there. But rookie corners, DeJean and Mitchell, both in Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP Saquon. Defensive Player of the Year, and Zach Bond, which absolutely criminal that he was 5th place. But one thing that's pretty key to note in all of that, all of them off-season additions. All of them. Every single one.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing that not a lot of people, like to mention, but I think the off season is kind of, very a strong influence on how the next season goes. I mean, yeah, because you can go draft whoever you want, but if you've got all these pieces in the off season that you can go add, like the Philadelphia Eagles did this past off season, then of course we're seeing how it translates to Madden and to the league where they're playing in the Super Bowl. But I just think that there's a lot of factors that go inside the business in the NFL that I don't think a lot of people will talk about per se.
On a play action pass to Devontae Smith, getting close to the end zone, 3rd and 2 on the 3. In real life, would you expect a tush push? I know it's a 1-yard play, but they get like 2 to 3 every time. I could see maybe a run here, and of course they don't have the tush push in Madden, but in real life, this situation, what would you expect here?
I would expect a tush push. Now, again, I'm not Nick Sirianni, but I just feel like giving it, putting it in Jalen Hurts' hands, I feel like that's going to be the smart call on the 3.
Especially here, end of first quarter, 7-0 Chiefs, and the Eagles are 4th and 1 at the 2. Like we just said, they don't have the tush push in Madden, so we're not sure if they'll go for it. I think they're in the territory to do so, but we could expect points, maybe a 7-3. I guess we'll have to see what Sirianni and his crew elects to do.
Well, Caton, I say this a lot when we play college football 25. Playing conservative does not win you football games. And right here, you're going to see the Eagles play aggressive and get into the end zone right here.
There it is. my MVP.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Can I sing that even though I'm a Saints fan?
I mean, hey, if that's who you're rooting for, then go for it.
I'll join the Eagles fandom for the night. I'll join my buddy Cooper, but no, I mean, of course, like I said, playing conservative doesn't win you football games, and that right there goes to show that, you know, when you're in a situation like that, typically with someone who should have won MVP and Saquon Barkley, they you know, you're going to get into the end zone. But real quick, while we watch the PAT go through and await the kickoff, I do want to remind everybody that you're watching the Super Bowl simulation on ASU-TV, your campus channel for students by students. There's your ad read of the day.
Well, another conversation I would like to have, and it might stir up some feathers, who knows. We know that MVP is a regular season award, but with how Saquon played in the playoffs, if playoffs were included, would there have been, without a doubt, that Saquon was MVP this season?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, you look at it and you say, okay, you know, we add the postseason statistics inside to this category, then you look at maybe pushing the NFL honors back to after the Super Bowl is completed, or, you know, maybe the night before, you know, like we're seeing now, or keeping on the same day. But you know, going back to your question, I think that I think that postseason should be included personally, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's still football being played in the same season as the regular season statistics. So, and especially if, you know, you got guys that are on the cusp of breaking team records or breaking NFL records, like you're gonna want to include those. I mean, let's be honest here, between the two of us and everybody watching. If Patrick Mahomes was, you know, let's say 300, or, you know, let's give a realistic number here. If he was 200 something yards away from breaking the all-time passing record in the NFL for the season, they're going to include his playoff numbers, and they're going to include that into the MVP conversation, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, I know that, you know that, Mr. Sullivan knows that, everybody knows that. I mean, that's just elementary, so to speak. So I don't see why there's not conversations being had to include these postseason numbers, especially for Saquon Barkley. But, you know, I think it would be nice to see a position other than the quarterback win the MVP award.
Well, since you just said that, I have the question for you. Would you kind of want to see what the MLB does with pitchers and the Cy Young Award? You differentiate the QBs and then every other player on the field, and you give the chance of someone like Saquon Barkley, who had 2,000 rushing yards, and it was like the 9th player of all time to do so, a chance at MVP.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say, is that the MLB, while yes, a lot of people don't agree with some of the things that their commissioner has done to change the game, I feel like their postseason awards are arguably the best of all major league sports. I mean, you know, of course, the NFL, you got, you know, the ones that we've mentioned, the NBA, you got the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, so on and so forth. But I feel like if you have a statistical category for quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and tight ends, and not even, you know, tight ends maybe included with the receivers, but I feel like you'll start to see people almost care more about the NFL. I mean, and I'm not saying people don't care about it now, but I feel like if you give quarterbacks their own category, then you're going to see them play better. If you give running backs their own category, you're going to see a lot more productive numbers. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. If they had that, you know, let's say 2009, 2010, I mean, we'd be sitting here saying Chris Johnson was an MVP, and arguably should have been.
That is true, and I feel the same way last year when Lamar won it. It probably wasn't the best, although he had some stuff stacked upon himself where he made the case for it. But I believe last year was definitely the year in a long time, I can't say for certain, probably since last time was Adrian Peterson was a non-QB MVP, was, I think CMC or Tyreek Hill deserved that MVP more than someone like him.
Right, and you know, and the thing with Lamar Jackson is, and I'm just going to be blatantly honest here, is that people are like almost intimidated on talking about Lamar Jackson, because you make the case, oh, well, he runs a lot. Okay, and that should have been an
That was
interception.
a terrible pass. And we have a defensive end in coverage.
But he passes, he doesn't pass enough to be a quarterback. He runs too much to be a quarterback. Or, going back to where Mark Andrews dropped the 2-point conversion. I mean, that was Lamar's fault. I mean, the thing is the game today is such a different game that was played 5-10 years ago, because you're seeing more quarterbacks escape the pocket.
Risky pass.
Yeah.
Especially on Slay.
You're seeing more quarterbacks escape the pocket and extend plays to where their receivers are getting open within a different route than what they were originally supposed to run. So to kind of go back to the main point here, so I don't ramble on too much about Lamar Jackson, is that I just feel like he is too much of a playmaker to, for people to really give a good definition of what he is. Because at the end of the day, he's just a football guy.
That dude's insane. I don't know how you don't watch that dude and say he's not always a front runner for most valuable player. I remember earlier in the season against the Bengals, he's getting chased out by Sam Hubbard. He's in his face. He stiff arms him to the ground, 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and throws a dot into the end zone. I'm like watching, and how are people discrediting his ability? I mean, he is a playmaker. But one thing that we failed to mention while we were watching, Mahomes had his X factor. That's something that we haven't seen before. The last time you guys saw us together was on NCAA, where they don't have stuff like superstar abilities and X factors. So that's pretty interesting. His first 3 incompletions came on that last drive.
Yeah, I mean, Madden is definitely a kind of a momentum-based game, and of course, the more momentum you get, the better off your team plays, no matter the roster. Because, off camera, and maybe it's something we look to do, possibly on a return of A-State Arcade, a show that Cooper and I used to do, is the Madden challenge you and I have been doing, where pretty much we do we randomize team, pick a fantasy, turn on fantasy draft, and we get 7 picks that's inside that fantasy draft, and we have 4 years to win a Super Bowl. Kind of a fun head-to-head thing Caton and I have been doing. We've recently done Madden 11 and Madden 12, but we have access to do Madden 09 and Madden 08, as well as ESPN 2K5. But, yeah.
We are stuck in a rut, though. What is going on?
I mean, that's, again, Madden NFL, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, we're stuck in a rut in our franchises. We haven't won a Super Bowl in 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started, there's Saquon. There's Saquon Barkley. Oh, his Madden rating just got dropped down.
Oh my goodness. One thing I don't like about the CPUs playing is running back awareness. Saquon scores there. Why does he cut back in the field and get tackled?
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, going back to the franchise thing, I think the first two tries we did it, we both won Super Bowls right off the bat. But now we have yet to get past the conference championship. So maybe it's something we look to bring on ASU-TV.
that would be a great idea.
It would be fun. We need to plan it. But, of course, I don't know if, maybe this is the place to announce this or not. But, of course, as a lot of people understand that, fumble on the goal line.
And they recover.
Oh, that's actually crazy. That's wild.
Jalen Hurts just got lit up.
That's football telling me not to announce that yet. So we'll put it back in our back pocket for a rainy day.
Surprised we didn't hand it off to Saquon there.
Well, 3rd and goal on the 10. Now they're going to throw a fade to Devontae Smith. Or Jalen Hurts is going to...
To Saquon. Incomplete.
This is why I do not like Madden 45.
It's been on the downfall, that's for sure. It's probably one of the worst years. This should realistically tie it up, but Jake Elliott has been quite bad this year, so.
I feel like you just gave him a jinx. I don't know why, but
I would be fine with it. It'd be pretty sick. Let's see.
Okay, never mind.
Well, 10-10, we got 50 seconds. You can't give the ball to that guy with 50 seconds, especially. I can't say for sure because I can't see it, but the 3 timeouts maybe? I believe they have 3 timeouts still, 50 seconds. He did it in 13 one year.
Hey, you know, here's the thing though. This isn't real life. Because for all we know, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw into triple coverage. So
he has his X factor. He has the X factor. He's going to do something crazy. What a return.
I do want to remind everybody at halftime that we will have our own halftime show. We will stay right here and not go anywhere. We're going to break down the first half and talk about more things NFL and ASU-TV and all that good stuff right here on ASU-TV tonight, the show formerly known as Red Wolf Roundtable After Dark.
There it is, X Factor and all. Small P. Ryan in the backfield. We've seen a lot of him. Not usually, and there's a screen. Screen. Breaks off one, gets to the 50.
There's your timeout.
That's the first one. It's getting going.
I feel like, you know, growing up playing Pop Warner football, if you didn't yell at the top of your lungs screen when there was a screen playing and going on, that you had to run extra gassers at the end of practice. But, you know, nonetheless, you know, you and I were talking, speaking of Pop Warner football, about maybe joining a flag football league. So
maybe we'll have to start one.
Maybe even get more content on ASU TV. Back-to-back screens.
This time, didn't really do much. Eagles were ready for it. Only 2 yards, but they get out of bounds, so it stops the clock. They don't have to use that timeout.
33 seconds remaining. 2nd and 8 from Philadelphia's 49-yard line. The play clock winding down. Chiefs in shotgun formation. 2 receivers out right, 1 left. Mahomes drops back, throws it. Oh, he breaks away, but he's going to be. Oh, I thought they were
forward progress.
I thought they were going to say it was 3rd down there.
For
Interested.
Sure. Yeah, that's another case of what you were saying. Madden, I wouldn't say for sure. In real life, that would be the same case, but maybe it would with how it carried them.
Right, so 29 seconds left. Another timeout was called, and once again, I want to remind everybody you're watching ASU TV tonight, Super Bowl simulation on Madden 25 on ASU TV, which you should know if you're watching this. Mahomes drops back from the 50, throws it to Travis Kelce.
I believe that's his first catch today.
I think it may be his second, but he tried to shake the defenders off. If you know, you know.
We didn't see the first down celebration. They got to add those next year. They got to add the team designated first down celebrations. We were talking about it before the show. We believe that the first down celebrations are better than touchdown celebrations.
Well, it's EA. They're probably going to add it, but you'll have to pay like $60 for them with microtransactions to unlock them all. So here's Mahomes. He's going to try to scramble, and he's just going to throw it out of bounds. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
Under a little bit of pressure by one of the Bulldogs, Nolan Smith. You can expect to see that pass rush be pretty dominant, especially with one of the guys in the middle who is also a Georgia Bulldog, Jalen Carter, the guy with the star under him. That guy has been a havoc in the playoffs. I think he tied Aaron Donald for what a catch. I think he tied Aaron Donald for pressures in the playoffs.
I don't know, but the time is winding down in Kansas City. I don't think it's called their last timeout yet. Maybe they have, and that's going to be how the first half concludes. 10-10 our score. So real quick, while we get ready for the second half, Caton, I got to ask you, what do you think so far?
To be fair, we have seen a lot of Madden-esque things. First Kansas City drive, we saw a tip drill touchdown when Quinion Mitchell just dropped the interception and let it go through his hands. We saw, well, there it is right there. we just saw a Hollywood Brown catch, or was it Worthy? One of the two on Darius Slay that kind of glitched out. And then we haven't seen a lot of Saquon runs, 2 or 3 maybe, and one of them went for 60 and almost a touchdown, another one a loss of yards. But I don't think that's how they're going to play in real life. I know this is a simulation, but regardless, I think they should still be giving the ball to Saquon.
Right. Well, Kansas City will start the second half off with the football. Of course, the new NFL kickoff rule was implemented in Madden 25. And speaking of that, I got to ask, do you like the new kickoff rule? Do you not like it? You know, what do you think?
I can't really say too much about it. I don't think it's really changed too much. I think it's cool that one of the options, and we see it in the game, we've seen Justin Reed kick kickoffs, which I think is sick, and it adds versatility to someone like Reed, who allows a team not to put their kicker at risk on kickoff. But other than that, I think it's not really changed too much. They're still letting it go out.
Right. So first and 10, 26-yard line. They're going to hand it off. Is that Pacheco?
It is. First time.
Nice.
Gets to the second level and the first down. But like you were talking about earlier, we wanted to talk about the NFL honors. We kind of glossed over it with the Eagles since they had so many. But with who won, were you surprised? We can go down the list. MVP was Josh Allen. Were you surprised by Josh Allen?
So the thing with the MVP and with Josh Allen is, you know, did he deserve it? Yes. Am I surprised he won it? Yes. I don't know. I just think that there was too close of a race between him and Lamar. Now, I'm not mad that he won it, but you know, there was too many people deserving of that award to really pinpoint who I thought should deserve it more.
I kind of want to bring up a point. I want to hear what you have to say about it. If Burrow and his defense wasn't so bad, could you have seen maybe a Joe Burrow MVP or maybe a case for it? Because that offense was electric. I know they have Jamar Chase. I know they have T. Higgins. I know they're both great. But he was dominating defenses, and the defensive side of the ball for the Bengals was lighting them up.
Well, and here's what I want to start by saying is that, you know, we've seen Kansas City in 3 straight Super Bowls now, and the last time they missed a Super Bowl was when the Cincinnati Bengals defeated them in the AFC Championship game, pretty much with the almost exact same roster with minus a few additions since then. But I definitely think if Burrow is 100% healthy, you know, his defense doesn't sell him out, I definitely think the Bengals are going to be back in the Super Bowl next year. That's my hot take of the day. The Cincinnati Bengals will be in the Super Bowl next year.
That's a good one. They have a good offense. They got to really repair that defense, though. That secondary is miserable. Next, Offensive Player of the Year. Man on the field, well, not on the field currently, but for one of the teams, Saquon Barkley. You think he deserved it?
100%. I mean, Saquon Barkley's had one of the most dominant single-season rushing yards, and, you know, one of the most dominant single-season running backs. Or sorry, my words are getting combined here, but he had one of the most dominant single seasons of running backs in a very long time, so it does not surprise me at all to see him win that award.
I would have to say the same. I'm kind of disappointed. And there goes Kelsey down the sideline. Anyways, I wish that the Eagles kept him in against the Giants. It would have been ultimate revenge. You break the rushing record, most yards in a single season of all time. You break Eric Dickerson's record. And it's against your former team. I would have loved to see it. I think he deserved it. Next, Defensive Player of the Year. Shoot, I'm blanking right now, I'm going to be honest with you. It was Patrick Surtain. I think he had an amazing season. I definitely think he deserved it. I think he allowed 360 yards as the Chiefs score a touchdown.
Quick, cut the tape. Oh, wait, that's not Travis Kelce. I was going to say, quick, cut the camera to Taylor Swift real quick.
His counterpart, Noah Gray. But I think Surtain had a great season. 360 yards allowed. He was averaging like 21 yards a game, like 1 or 2 catches a game. He had like 4 or 5 interceptions, with one of them being a 100-yard touchdown. Did you expect anybody else?
Well, and you know, here's the thing, like, and I'll be openly honest about this. I mean, I did not pay much attention to the NFL outside of the New Orleans Saints after Week 3. I was kind of on the high horse that the Saints were back after their great start, and then the Philadelphia Eagles kind of crushed my ego and my heart when they came back and beat us in New Orleans. But I think that Patrick Surtain, I think that yes, he did deserve it. I mean, on the Broncos, Coach Sean Payton, he's been a very defensive-minded coach his entire coaching career, especially when he was with the Saints, and had some of the best defenses that the team has ever seen and some of the best defenses the NFL's ever seen. So I definitely think that he deserved the award.
Well, here we go. Offensive Rookie of the Year. What a year for offensive rookies, especially the top guys. We had someone like Caton Daniels who won it. We had Bo Nix. We had Brian Thomas Jr. We had Malik Neighbors. We had Bucky Irving. And we had Brock Bowers. And there were more. There were plenty more offensive rookies that were just insane this year. Bowers broke the rookie yards reception record, which as a tight end, almost positive he broke the single season receiving record for rookies as a tight end, as I just said. Oh, and there's Saquon again. Neighbors was right in the race with him for the reception record. Brian Thomas, absolute stunner out of LSU. Jaden Daniels, amazing QB season. I don't think you could have went wrong with any of these guys.
Well, and here's what I'll say. Brian Thomas, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors.
They're all LSU.
All came from the same college of LSU. Joe Burrow, the comeback player of the year, came from LSU. LSU has got some of the most rich, prestigious players in the NFL right now. And, not to, sound like a, LSU diehard fan that I actually kind of am, wink, wink. I think that, I don't think there was any other choice but to name Jaden Daniels that offensive rookie of the year, because that goes back to our conversation we just had earlier in the show about the postseason, and being included with these awards. And I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong if you know, but I think Jaden Daniels is the only rookie to ever lead his team into an NFC Championship game and, almost make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, Jaden Daniels got drafted to a team, the Washington Commanders, who, while yes, they've had their bit of controversy, they have also struggled a lot since the days of when they had Sean Taylor, Clinton Portis, Donovan McNabb, even back earlier when they had, one of the most dynamic teams in the 80s when they won their first Super Bowl. I just think that from what this rookie class did for the franchises that they were with, of course, yes, like you said, you couldn't go wrong, but the amount of impact Jaden Daniels had in year one, I think that it was a no-brainer. Now, not to discredit Brock Bowers, but I mean, again, looking at his franchise, Brock Bowers was easily the backbone of the entire Las Vegas Raiders' organization. So I definitely think that Jaden Daniels was the right call there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. This team was second overall in the draft. I can't remember the record to a T. I believe it sat around 4-13, maybe 5-12. They had head coaching problems. They get Dan Quinn in the offseason. They bring in Cliff Kingsbury, who was a former coach for the Cardinals, and takes an role to develop a young Jaden Daniels. And he's done it before with Mahomes and other guys alike. And this team just skyrockets. I don't disagree with you by any means. I think Daniels deserved it 100%. I can't get over the fact how electric this offensive rookie class was. And I kind of hope it's the same with this year. I don't know if something like that can top it.
Yeah, well, we're just about the end of the third quarter in our Madden simulation, and Kansas City seems to be strong in the driver's seat here. I mean, they're up a touchdown. The fourth quarter is about to begin, and they have a 3rd and inches call where they're surely going to get them first new set of downs here.
Yes. I don't know about that one. I saw Saquon Barkley get stopped twice last drive, and it got to a 4th and 1.
Well, and another thing about this matchup real quick is that Carson Wentz is playing his former team, so we'll see how that storyline drives it. But there's the handoff, and hey, wide open gap for the first down.
Checo doing what he does. He's been struggling as of late, coming back from that injury, but maybe a Super Bowl revival. We got an extra week of rest too. Maybe we'll see him more, but I wish we would see that guy right there more. Going into the fourth quarter, it's 17-10. We expect an Eagles comeback?
Where they are now, I'm not sure how many timeouts they may have, but I think that this definitely will be, I think that the Eagles have a stop in them.
Real quick before we go on back into the game, the last award we'll talk about is Defensive Rookie of the Year. It was kind of underwhelming this year, I would have to say. Jared Verse played amazing. He got a lot of pressures as a defensive end as a rookie. He played amazing. Sack numbers weren't the highest, but that's not all that matters. But it just doesn't seem like the magnitude of Offensive Rookie of the Year by any means. Verse wins it. Chop Robinson was in the race for it. Not to discredit him, but and I might let my bias show. Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M. He was a dog. I think he deserved to be in it, and well, we get our first injury.
Yeah, I believe that's Hollywood Brown was the injured Kansas City Chief on that play, but they just got a first down off that last play, and that may be the final nail. Well, not the final nail in the coffin, but it may be the slowly start constructing the coffin of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, another point I want to bring up, and we won't let the game dictate it, especially with how the score's going, how the Chiefs are driving the ball. But Super Bowl MVP, if the Chiefs were to win and the Eagles were to win, I know things can happen. Mahomes using his legs, though.
Oh, where's the flag? Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, 35-yard penalty, automatic, Kansas City, first down.
But who do you expect to win Super Bowl MVP for each team?
So Kansas City, if Kansas City wins it, Patrick Mahomes is going to get it. I mean, that's a no-brainer. If Philadelphia gets it, and I'm going to go out on a whim. Okay, great tackle in open field there. If Philadelphia gets it, and this is going to be a situational thing, but I think if the game is close and the Philadelphia Eagles stop them on their last drive, I think Darius Slay will get it. I think if it's, pretty much a one-sided affair, the Philadelphia Eagles kind of have control most of the game, I think that we'll see Saquon.
One thing I didn't really even think about, and I love that you brought up a defensive player for the Super Bowl MVP. When was the last time a Super Bowl MVP was a defensive player? It feels like it usually goes to the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I don't think there may have ever been a defensive Super Bowl MVP. Now, we'll have to have somebody look that up for us. But regardless of that, I think that a touchdown here pretty much signs, seals, and delivers the Philadelphia Eagles' hope on winning the Super Bowl, at least on Madden 25.
Do you think that the Chiefs cover the spread? Minus 1.5 is what I've been hearing.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a big odds guy. I've never been a big, ESPN bet or DraftKings, any, underdog. I've never been a big, entertainer of that, so I'm not sure whether they will or not. I mean, I'll go off what you say, and I'm pretty sure they may, but I just don't dabble into that side of things too much.
Well, I think they will. I think it's kind of hard to close a game by less than 2 points, and without the things that have been going, Chiefs favor. I think they close it out, especially with that 2-point cushion as we get a Pacheco pass, and now they're on the 1 with a little bit more than 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Eagles are going to have to pull up some crazy stuff if they want this to go through.
Unless the Philadelphia Eagles can cause a fumble on this play right here, I think it's going to be over. And with the X factor, I don't think it's going to happen.
See if there's some trickery here with Travis Kelce. I know they like to do that. Mahomes going to use his
Okay.
Stops the time.
Again, if Philadelphia cannot get either a stop or a turnover, I think, I don't think if they go up 20 to 10, I don't think that there's going to be enough time for them to get the ball, score, get the ball back, and score again. But here we go, 3rd and goal. Oh.
Wide open. Wow.
That's
Mr. DeAndre Hopkins coming up big in his first Super Bowl. 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, and here's a comparison I want to make in this. Do you think that DeAndre Hopkins has a breakout game in the Super Bowl, kind of similar to what Odell Beckham Jr. had with the Rams against the Bengals before he tore his ACL.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't been seeing the numbers that favor Hopkins. It would be sweet, especially the story he has. I think that'd be a great way to go out. You win the Super Bowl, you join the Chiefs, have a great season, and then you have a great Super Bowl game. I think that's a great way to go out, especially with how his career's been going. But they haven't been playing him much.
Right.
So I can't say for sure. I'd love to see it, but they've been playing guys like Worthy and Hollywood a lot more than the veteran.
Yeah, and another thing is I just remembered that the Superdome that they're playing in got renamed again. It's not the Louisiana Superdome. That's what I know it as. It's not the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's the Caesars Superdome. Look, here's the thing. I grew up calling it the Louisiana Superdome. I'll probably always call it the Louisiana Superdome, but I forget with branding comes new names.
I don't blame you. I thought it still was the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, if I'm being honest with you. I really did.
I know the Superdome in Atlanta is still the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so yeah.
Well, this is like one of the final drives here for the Eagles. We probably won't be seeing Mr. MVP much because running the ball does not favor the Eagles in this situation. We haven't seen a lot of A.J. Brown. We did see him drop the ball. Like, what was it, the first drive?
We did.
So he's been doing a lot of that recently. I will say that. He's been doing a lot of that. Been seeing a lot of Devontae Smith.
God, the camera operator needs to tilt down. Oh, wide open pass in open field.
Hey, what was this all game?
That Goddard. Dallas
Indeed
Goddard.
it is. One guy that I would say for the Eagles that might be going under the radar right now to come up big is, well, you see him right now, Devontae Smith. He's been stellar against the Chiefs. He averages like 100 yards a game. 100 yards a game against them.
I did not know that.
So with how L'Jarius Sneed departed from the Chiefs this offseason to the Titans, there he is again. He's going to be working up against Jalen Watson and some other guys. I think McDuffie's probably going to shift his focus to someone like A.J. Brown. So expect him to come up big.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go on a whim and say this. I definitely think that, with how the Madden AI logic is, that this is probably gonna be, our final score was 24-10.
There's McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie.
An underthrown ball by Jalen Hurts leads to a swat by Mr. McDuffie. At the minute, 22 seconds left to go.
I didn't realize Travis Kelce speak that bad. EA. Need to fix his hair. 2nd and 10, minute 20. That midfield just throws the check down.
It's blasted by Mr. Nick Bolton.
But yeah, going back to what we were talking about, State Arcade and everything, I definitely think that would be fun to bring back and, possibly give you some stuff to do on ASU-TV, because for those of you that don't know, Mr. Caton Marsh over here has kind of been the MVP of the year for ASU-TV. Dude's helped out a bunch wherever we've needed him to. So hopefully you see more of him. Oh! On your head.
Mr. Dallas Goedert. Oh my goodness, what a strike. And here comes the onside kick. Have we seen any timeouts by the Eagles?
Not that I think they did take one when Kansas City had the ball prior to the touchdown, but I'm not sure if they have enough left to get the onside and score.
Well, you know what? This brings up an awesome point in this type of situation. It's 24-17. I hate the new onside kick rules. I know at this point it would almost be kind of a given, but I hate the fact that you have to declare that you're going to do an onside kick before actually taking it.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest issues I have with the new kickoff rules is that, you got to declare an onside kick because, here's the thing. There's been so many times where an onside kick is a surprising factor and it kind of adds a new dynamic to the game. Look at Super Bowl 44, which was 15 years ago, where the Saints defeated the Colts.
That was huge.
Ambush, come in from the second half and you kick the onside. But here we go. Maybe Philadelphia gets it. And they're not.
Juju Smith-Schuster. We haven't said his name. He's back with the Chiefs to hopefully win his second Super Bowl.
Is that how you do it? Did you want to beat? Is that how you do it?
I believe so, you're right.
I don't have TikTok no more, so I
But
don't
you
know.
remember he does the Corvette.
Oh, yeah. Corvette.
Yeah. He'd be doing it on the Super Bowl logo at the start of the game and I'll get plastered by somebody. That was a memorable moment.
I know there's a lot of people watching me do that. That just cringed.
Well, I demonstrate the Corvette. So I feel the same way.
Corvette. But yeah, likely just going to see Kansas City take a knee here and,
Maybe they have all their timeouts.
Oh, well, there's
Number
timeout.
one. So, 43 seconds. It was only a 3-yard run. That puts them in perfect position.
Why does the Super Bowl logo look like that episode of SpongeBob where they go back to the future? You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen SpongeBob?
I've seen it. I don't know what you're talking about, though.
Where they go back to the future. You ever seen that?
No, I'm kind of blank.
So, what are you doing with your life?
Not watching that, I can tell you that. I've been focusing on stuff like this.
Hey, man. You can be a kid.
I'm just messing with you, bro. 3rd and 3. And do we have one more timeout left?
Well, considering the clock has stopped, I would say so.
I'm talking about for next play.
I don't know whether they're kneeing it, so probably not.
I might conclude it. Yep, that's going to conclude it right
Yeah,
there.
they're not taking a timeout.
That is kind of unfortunate to go out like that. It'd be cool to see another drive by the Eagles, especially the way they just came out and had a strike. That was insane. But 24-17 will be your final score.
They're kicking a field goal to add insult to injury.
Wow, they went through with it.
And they made it.
Wow.
Adding insult to injury.
I'm wondering if there would be fights after the game if that happened.
I know I'd be fighting, but your final score is 27-17. Sorry, Cooper. Easton once again is on top of the world. The Kansas City Chiefs are now 2-0 versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
They want to fill out that hand. Mahomes is on his 4th now. He wants to fill out that hand, kind of like Tom Brady. The GOAT.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully this does not happen in real life. But I definitely think that, the Eagles have what it takes to win the Super Bowl.
Well, that was a pretty cool simulation. I would say it was probably. Would you say it was better than the Bowling Green Arkansas State one?
No.
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 Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you, Tristan, for coming on this.
Thanks for
I
having
really
me.
appreciate it. And that's been ASU-TV tonight. Thank you.